Hi everybody, this is Heather Poduska and welcome to your minivan moment where I bring you inspiration and motivation to create the life you really want. It's been a couple of days since I've done a minivan moment, and part of that's because we've been on vacation, we were out of town, and I really believe in spending quality time with your family when you can. But I'm back now, and I really wanted to share this message with you because over the weekend I was at the gym on the treadmill and I was watching a documentary when I was running. And it was about this 12 or 13-year-old girl who was part of a Native American tribe. And she'd suffered a horrible loss. Her dad fell off a horse, hit his head, and tragically died. And it was such a loss for this girl. And of course, you can only imagine the trauma that she went through, the grief that she was going through. And she actually tried to kill herself. But the one thing that saved her was she found lacrosse. And she started playing lacrosse. And she found that, she said herself, that lacrosse made her feel grounded. And I thought, oh my goodness, that from a 12-year-old girl, she used the word grounded. She didn't say it made me feel good, it made me feel better. She said grounded. I thought that was very mature. The problem was that in her tribe, in her community, it was not perceived as something that a girl should do. It went against cultural norms, it went against her tribe, and to make matters worse, her own mom was one of the tribal leaders. And she also believed that the girls should not play lacrosse. So here's this poor kid who lost her father, who found this thing that saved her life, this sport, this activity that made her feel whole and good. And then everyone around her was telling her it was wrong. Her family, her community, her belief system said that this thing was wrong. Fortunately, she stuck with it, and eventually her mom came around and actually had to challenge her own beliefs about what was right and wrong. And she talked to the council and came to the conclusion that lacrosse actually was good for the girls. And what she ended up doing was integrating the beliefs and the religion and the cultural and all of those rituals into what the girls did with lacrosse. And they would thank Mother Earth and for the wind at their back. It was really cool. It was this really cool thing. And they started winning. And as a result, now in that community, over 100 girls are playing lacrosse. It's so amazing. But what made me think that I wanted to share this story with you is that we all have those things inside of us that make us feel whole, that make us feel grounded, that make us feel awesome about ourselves. And I'll tell you, for me, that thing is dancing. And I love to get a hot groove on. And I think that sometimes I don't, or not in public, or not on a minivan moment, I'm not sharing that part because it makes me a little bit nervous. But I love it so much. And I know for me, I grew up in a culture in my church where dancing was actually considered a sin. So I grew up with that in my subconscious, and I had that same pull on my heart as the girl who played lacrosse. I didn't suffer the tragedy that she did, but that my belief system, where we went to church, where my parents went to church, the pastor, the whole time that I saw every week was telling me that this thing was wrong, 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 and that I would go to hell if I was dancing. And on the inside, my hips are shaking, my feet are moving, my shoulders are rocking and rolling, and it was really hard. And now, as an adult, anytime I get a chance, I dance. And it's my goal to make that more part of my life. And I think, even still now, I think, oh, what would the people in my town think? What would my family think? What would my pastor think if he saw me dancing? But it makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. It makes me feel connected to who I am and really powerful. And it's fun. So I want to tell you that if there is something inside of you that makes you feel that way, it's really imperative to let it out. Because I think about that girl playing lacrosse. What would her path have been like? What would her future have been like if she didn't? what would she have done? It breaks my heart to think about it. And I also know how important it is to have community and to have the support to feel like it's safe. And I want to tell you right now, this community in my minivan is safe for you to share. So I would love to hear what it is about you that maybe is trying to come out to the surface, that feels scary but makes you feel so awesome about yourself and makes you feel like maybe it's painting, maybe it's that you really want to be athletic and you never were before, or maybe it's something else. Maybe you're an intuitive and you have sort of these gifts that you feel like people would think you were crazy if you shared them. But do. Because if you don't, it's going to chip away at you. And if you do, you have no idea what's going to happen, what championships you're going to win, how your business might change, how your relationships might change for the better. And you might be surprised that, hey, you might think that your community might think you're crazy or wild for dancing, but maybe they'd do a flash mob with you. Who knows? Who knows? So if you found this helpful or freeing in any way, or you know somebody that could benefit from this video, please share it, post it on YouTube, post it on your Facebook page, tell someone about it. And you can find me on YouTube at Heather Poduska, on Facebook. You can go to my website at heatherpoduska.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see what piece of you are going to take that baby step and start sharing, because I know I'm going to get my groove on. Okay, until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Ciao.